meeting Marcy, everybody!
Yeah, Marcy!
Hi, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah. So I'm Marcy Freeman, and I am the mom of 3 kids. And so I like to share some of my parenting wisdom in the form of parenting fails. So one of the things that you learn as a parent, that when you make a threat to your kids, you have to follow through, or your threats will never mean anything. But unfortunately, sometimes they backfire. So for example, at least once with all of my 3 kids, when I said, if you're not ready when I'm ready to leave, I'm leaving without you. So one of the times when I did that, my daughter was about 5 at the time, and I usually would leave the house, and the thought was then they'd like get all ready, and then I would drive around the block, and by that time the hope was they'd be all ready. Well, I drove around the block and came back, and not only was she not ready, she was across the street in her socks crying to the across the street neighbor. To which I was like, please don't call social services. I just wanted her to get ready. She goes, are you kidding? I'm going to do that next time my kids don't get ready. Another time we were coming back from watching my husband play softball, and 2 of the kids were fighting in the car on the way home. I said, if you don't stop fighting, I'm going to kick you out of the car and you're going to walk home. It was about a mile home. We were in the second safest town in Massachusetts. Don't ask me the first safest, I have no idea what it is. But they knew the way home. My husband was finishing up the over 40 Jewish softball league. It wasn't going to be long, really. And I was like, that's it. They weren't stopping fighting. I pulled over the car. I'm peeling my daughter's hands off of the arms of the chair, and I left them on the side of the road. I'm thinking, my husband's not far back behind. He's going to see them. He'll pick them up. It's all going to be fine. I get home, and then a little while later, my husband gets home. I was like, did you see the kids? He's like, no, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, crap. So I'm going to go back out and look for them. So he goes back out to look for them, and then my kids come home. My daughter was like maybe 7, and my son was 9 at the time. And then my daughter's like, oh, some woman drove me home, and I got to sit in the front seat. I'm like, crap. She's in a stranger's car in the front seat when she's not old enough to be in the front seat. And then another person called I knew, she said, oh yeah, my neighbor called and said these kids were fighting in the front seat of the car, or the front seat of my lawn, or front lawn of my house. And it turned out that I actually knew the neighbor, and I was like, please don't call social services. But I did realize that actually social services will come into your house and take the kids and leave you there. So I thought maybe that might not be a bad idea. So anyway, they didn't end up doing that, and she said, no, I've done that before, I've let the kids walk. So in the end, there's nothing you can do so bad as a parent that a few years of therapy can't fix. They're all now grown and positive members of society. So thank you for your time, and I'll turn this back over to